everybody. My name is Marika Gaul, and I am the speech-language pathologist at Gateway Pediatric Therapy in Bankham Farms. Today, we have a super exciting opportunity with OUCARES to provide guidance and support on how you, as parents, can increase your child's functional communication skills. Now more than ever, kids at home with family have limited access to peers in different environments. There are a number of ways to help expose your child to language at home without having to set aside a significant amount of time and effort. Today, I will be discussing 6 strategies that you can utilize from the comfort of your home. The first area we'll talk about today is called reciprocity. Children with emerging language skills often have difficulty with the back and forth flow of conversation. To encourage reciprocal exchange, initiate activities that require interaction between you and your child. This could include participating in activities that involve turn-taking in both natural and structured activities. For higher level kiddos, I highly encourage use of verbalizing my turn versus your turn to model use of appropriate pronouns. Here are a few ideas of games you can do at home. A simple turn-taking game, such as putting objects into a box or on a rod. The concept is for your child to understand that they have to wait their turn before they place their object on the rod or into the box. Another great idea that I love is rolling a ball back and forth. This may require an adult to assist the child with moderate to full hand-over-hand model, and for another adult to be on the other side. You can also focus on words such as go, ball, ready, set, go. This is a great activity for eye contact and joint attention as well. Taking turns touching body parts in hopes that the child will imitate an identified body part following your prompt is a great activity that also targets receptive language in what-step directions. Turn-taking while feeding an animal using different foods is also fun and targets bimotor coordination and identifying or labeling foods. A higher level activity, such as a memory game, a board game, or a card game of Uno, are fantastic as well. The second strategy I would like to discuss is to narrate daily routines as your child performs them throughout the day. Verbalizing your child's actions and activities, such as cleaning up toys, washing hands, taking a bath, or making mac and cheese, is exposing them to language and allows them to connect actions to the words. I encourage you to produce concise phrases in hopes that they will imitate and eventually use the phrases in a natural environment on their own. Here is an example. Use of visuals and gestures are encouraged as well. Water on. Let's wash your hands. Put your hands in the water. Now we need some soap. Get some soap. There's some soap. Now soap is on your hands. Let's rub those hands. Rub, 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 rub. Rub your hands. This all becomes very natural as you observe what your child is doing. If your child produces a word such as hand, as a parent, expand upon it and encourage it by saying, yes, your hand. Let's wash your hands. This models that longer phrase for them. The third strategy I will touch on today is setting up communication temptations. What does this mean? Let me explain. A communication temptation simply involves arranging the environment so that items are just out of reach or require a request or adult assistance to access. This motivates a child to use a visual support, such as an AAC device, a gesture, a word approximation, a label, or to use a phrase in order to gain access to the desired object. Let's talk some examples. If a child wants his or her cup, you can prompt them to point to the cup, produce the k sound. Here you go. Good, saying k. To label the cup, and give it to them. Or you can prompt them to say, I want cup. Here you go, buddy. For nonvocal kiddos who communicate using pictures or a device, this is where you can incorporate their AAC. The following are ideas that you can do at home to stimulate phrase use at home or out in their community. You can complete an arts and crafts activity. For example, have pieces of a dog out, nose, eyes, ears, etc., and have the child request, based on their ability, through pointing, using a sound, using a word approximation, or a phrase, to put the dog together. You can have a board with a scenery, such as a city, a zoo, a farm, and then have animals, objects, people who belong to that board for a child to request. I'm a big fan of magnetic boards, if you have access to that. If you want your child to assist you in the kitchen, you can have them ask for utensils or foods necessary to make a dish. A great easy one would be a PB&J or mac and cheese. It's a great way to interact with your child, and the goal here is to trick them into learning by having fun. If your child typically has snacks readily available, put them out of reach and have them in view. That way, they can request using their words. The next tip I would like to discuss is how you can stimulate language production through play-based routines. Get on eye level with your kiddo and bring out highly motivating toys to stimulate joint attention, eye contact, following directions, imitation skills, and reciprocal exchange. For example, when playing with farm animals, you can verbalize, the cow is hungry, the cow wants an apple. Next, you can model feeding the cow while producing the cow sound. Moo. Cow says moo. Ooh, yum. Cow is eating. Yummy. Cow is eating apple. In hopes that the child will follow your lead. The goal is for your child to pick up a food and a different animal and imitate you. If they imitate, it is important to praise what they do, repeat what they say, and expand upon it. For example, if they say, neigh, as they have a horse, you say, yes, horse says neigh. Horse says neigh. Let's feed horse. Horse is eating, and continue stimulating that language. Repeating phrases increases exposure to different words and shows your child that you are listening to what they are saying. You can also assist them as needed based on their level of development. If your child is engaging and attending during this activity, they are likely listening to you and absorbing what you are saying. Another technique I would like to discuss is expanding utterance length. A lot of children with emerging language primarily label or use 2 to 3 word phrases. It is important to encourage use of longer phrases when age appropriate. To do this, you can produce their phrase and add on additional words to their phrase. For example, if your child is eating an apple and produces phrase apple, you can say, yes, eating an apple. Or even simpler, yes, apple, yum. If your child has limited language, you can encourage production of sound ah for apple. If your child is using an AAC device and they tapped apple, you can expand on their device and use icons to say, you eat apple. This is modeling language in a natural way. If your child is at the point of using 2 to 3 word phrases, really model those 5-6 word phrases, just to encourage them to continue expanding their utterance length. Lastly, I want to discuss the importance of asking WH questions. You can ask a child what they are doing, where something is, or who is doing an action. A great tool to target questions is going through a book. It's not about reading what's on the pages, but rather describing and labeling what is happening, where it's happening, and who it's happening to. You can go through the book once and target these phrases, and then go back to target the words and ask the questions. Here are a few examples of skills you can target with the books. You can have the child follow one-step commands, including pick up the book, open the book, point to, turn the page, or close the book. You can also target identifying common objects, attributes, actions by asking child to point to. You can assist them as needed and repeat the name of the object, attribute, or action a few times. This is working on receptive language. You can also focus on expressive language by asking the child to label objects, actions, and attributes by asking them, what is this? What color is this? Etc. Work on WH questions such as, what is happening? Where is the apple? Who's eating the apple? By looking at pictures and pointing to the target. This will target working on present progressive verbs, prepositions within phrases, and pronouns. WH questions can also be targeted on picture cards, as well as the natural environment. You can ask the child what they are doing while they are playing. For example, when they are eating, you can ask, what are you eating? Where are you sitting? Who's eating the apple? Also, you can focus on asking them questions in picture cards with certain actions, kind of like looking at a book. I really hope you find these tips fun and helpful for incorporating language into everyday routines and activities. Again, I'm Marika, Gaul, speech-language pathologist with Gateway Pediatric Therapy. Thank you so much for watching.